What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and it's about 3:30 in the morning on the 8th, and I have some updates for you that I wanted to give you guys yesterday because it was news that came out yesterday on the 7th, but I was still having technical difficulties. If you guys didn't know, I was having some issues recently because the hard drive on my computer filled up. I just got a new computer recently, and the internal hard drive wasn't very big to begin with, so I knew I was going to have to get one eventually. Ended up having to get one sooner than I was hoping because it filled up, and I got one. I got a new 1 terabyte. I finally got it all installed. It took a while to get it all set up and formatted and everything. I was having some issues with that along the way. Even ended up calling Geek Squad a few times yesterday to help me out because I couldn't fucking figure it out. I went into the computer's BIOS. I fucking went into disk management, like all the fucking help motherfucking shit said, all the forums and websites and everything. Couldn't initialize it, couldn't format it. Took a minute. Finally ended up getting it. Geek Squad didn't end up helping. It just ended up working somehow. I don't even fucking know. Whatever. But it's all fucking sorted out. I think I still might have to tweak one or two little things, but I should be back to normal and back good. I was actually on the verge of having to do like just live videos because I wasn't going to be able to use my video editing software. Unfortunately, that was a byproduct of having a full hard drive. A lot of things, a lot of programs and stuff weren't exactly working the way that they should because there wasn't adequate space to write stuff and whatnot. So anyway, but I got that all sorted out, it would seem, and so I'm good to go now. And so I'm just trying to get myself caught up with all the news and everything, and at this point I should be good to go. Shouldn't have any more issues, and I have so much fucking space because so the hard drive, just real quick before I get into the news, the hard drive that came with my computer, like everything about the computer's damn good. The graphics and the CPU, everything. It's a gaming computer, desktop. I mean, it's not the best of the best, but it's a damn solid computer. The problem is it didn't have very much memory. It was only 16 gigs, so, and obviously that's not very much, but I do have now another 1 terabyte solid state drive inside the computer, and then another 1 terabyte external hard drive as well. So I've got so much fucking space in my computer at this point. Like I said, I shouldn't have any more fucking problems. Anyway, let's go ahead and just get right into this news, because there is a lot of really important stuff to talk about. So, I mean, really, honestly, it's just updates to, this disaster that's going on with COVID, and, it's just not good. So let me just go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing, let me go ahead and give you this first bit. Let's see. I think all these articles I'm going to be reading through are from Yahoo Sports. Patriots star cornerback Stephon Gilmore announces he has COVID-19. New England Patriots cornerback Stephon Gilmore, the NFL's reigning Defensive Player of the Year, announced on Wednesday that he has tested positive for COVID-19. It was reported earlier on Wednesday that Gilmore had tested positive and will be placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. According to his Twitter post, he is currently asymptomatic. Gilmore is the third Patriots player to be placed on the reserve COVID-19 list, joining teammates Cam Newton and Bill Murray. I didn't even know Bill Murray was on that list, and obviously that's funny because that's also the name of the actor, Bill Murray, right? Anyway, Newton was placed on the list Saturday and did not play in the Patriots' 26-10 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Murray, a practice squad defensive tackle, was placed on the list Tuesday. The tests the Patriots took before they left Kansas City on Monday night reportedly came back negative. That's why I told you, man, that shit's not good. That shit's not good. They're risking shit. And I saw another report that, Stephon Gilmore, not just, but was hugging Patrick Mahomes and several other players from the Chiefs. Like, And they apparently tested negative before that game. Their testing is not anywhere good enough. It's not good enough in the country, and this is going to continue to be a disaster. And I've been telling y'all, but, you know, they just don't seem to care. Anyway, what happens now? The Patriots have reportedly canceled their practice on Wednesday and Thursday, but beyond that, the team's future is unknown. At this point, they won't get back to practicing until the weekend at the absolute earliest. That leaves Sunday's game against the Denver Broncos in question. While it's currently scheduled to go forward, the NFL is reportedly evaluating whether it should. Part of that decision will likely hinge on the results of Wednesday's tests, which the Patriots will receive on Thursday. If they play on Sunday, they'll likely only have one normal practice to get ready for it. If there are more positive tests and this turns into a full-fledged outbreak, it's likely that Sunday's game will have to be rescheduled or perhaps even forfeited depending on the circumstances. Mahomes being cautious. Gilmore played every single defensive snap against the Chiefs on Monday, and it's possible that he could have spread the virus to others during the game. The Chiefs have not reported any positive tests since they played the Patriots on Monday, but that doesn't mean they're in the clear. The 3 to 7 day incubation period of COVID-19 means that Chiefs players wouldn't start testing positive until later in the week, possibly Thursday or Friday. Gilmore got particularly close to Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes on Monday night. And they show some images here of them literally face mask to face mask. Mahomes said on Wednesday that his hug with Gilmore was a mental lapse. I mean, but again, though, they can't control it. And we're going to get more into that once I get to some of the repercussions for the Titans. Because, yeah, anyway, he also said that he has been extra cautious since a Chiefs player tested positive last week, especially since his fiancée is pregnant. I mean, that's such a disaster, dude, because it's super likely that Gilmore gave it to Mahomes in that hug, and he can be cautious, but if he's already gone home to his pregnant wife, then it's possible he's already given it to her too. So, and I mean, it's like I've been saying from the beginning, none of this is worth the risk, but they don't care. They're just going to keep putting people's lives in jeopardy because the only thing that's important is making sure that they keep their fucking money. Anyway, let's continue on though, because I do want to get through these, and there are several to get through. The next one is another Yahoo Sports. Report 2 more Titans test positive for COVID-19. Sunday's game in jeopardy. 2 more Tennessee Titans players have tested positive for COVID-19, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. The positives reportedly came from Tuesday's round of testing, and the team received the results on Wednesday. And this was, you know, after a day, maybe 2 days of no positive tests and thinking that it was finally getting under control there. Nope. And I told you, they can't control this. Anyway, this is a setback for the Titans, the first NFL team to deal with a serious outbreak. After more than a full week of having at least one reported positive test per day, they'd received no positive tests on Monday and Tuesday. If the positive tests on Sunday had been the last ones, they could have opened up their facility on Wednesday, returned to practice, and played their Week 5 game. Now they're right back where they were last week and looking at a second straight week of disruption. Corey Davis placed on COVID-19 reserve list. On Wednesday, the team placed wide receiver Corey Davis on the COVID reserve list. Neither the Titans nor Davis has confirmed he tested positive for coronavirus. A player does not need to test positive to wind up on the list. A player can be placed on that list if they've been in contact with someone who tested positive. But, you know, and that's the thing, though. At this point, that's why I said, like, and they're not doing this at all right. Because if they were, Patrick Mahomes and the entire Chiefs roster would quarantine for 2 weeks, which means they wouldn't be able to play games for 2 weeks. But they're not going to do that. So they're, you know, the idea that they're following protocols, first of all, the protocols are not good enough to begin with. Then the idea that they're following them is absolutely ridiculous. Not just the players and the coaches and the organizations, but the NFL either. You know, they want to try and blame everybody else for it, but they're not actually following the protocols either. Because if they were, then these teams would not be playing for a minimum of 2 weeks. Anyway, let's continue on. The Titans did not place a second player on the COVID reserve list Wednesday. The team reportedly believes the second positive test may have been inconclusive and is working to confirm whether that's the case. Game versus Bills could be in jeopardy. While the Titans having 2 more reported positives on Wednesday, the reopening of their facility is almost certainly on hold. If their facility remains closed and practices continue to be suspended, it's hard to see how they'd be able to play the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, and at the Titans Nissan Stadium no less. It's possible that game will need to be rescheduled. The Titans have already had 1 game rescheduled due to their team outbreak. Their Week 4 game against the Pittsburgh Steelers was postponed and moved to Week 7, when hopefully the team will be clear of this outbreak. The NFL was able to manage that emergency schedule switch, but with a quarter of the season already over, it's going to get harder for the NFL to make easy swaps. And I told you, this is only going to get worse, and because they don't actually care to do anything real about it, the problem is only going to continue to compound. And their solutions are only going to compound the issue, but we'll get to more of that in a minute. They're already in hot water with the Bills-Titans matchup because of the Bills' future schedule. The NFL is in uncharted territory, and it's not going to get any easier from here. Were Titans players working out together? Pelissero reported on Wednesday that the NFL and NFLPA are looking into whether Titans players violated the COVID-19 protocols by working out together while the team facility was closed. The NFL and NFLPA were already reportedly investigating the Titans last week, determining whether or not the team outbreak was caused by ignoring the protocols. The NFL announced on Monday that teams will have to forfeit a game if they're unable to play due to a COVID-19 outbreak because caused by breaking protocol. Okay, so we will get into that now a little bit. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, let's see. Titans from Yahoo Sports reports Titans players had informal workout after positive COVID-19 tests breaking NFL protocol. Real quick, before I get into this, again, and as we go through, there's a couple more articles that detail that their punishment could be really severe. We're going to get into those details in a minute, but there's 2 problems with that. One, and it all stems back to the NFL and the owners. One, these people should not be put in this fucking position to begin with. The season never should have started and never should have gone on, and they should not be risking people's lives simply for their profits and for entertainment. It's not worth it. But again, all they care about is that money, money, money. They don't even care about the entertainment for people, obviously, because the game is getting ruined by this and by the injuries and so on and so forth. Like, the quality of the football right now is not good. And, you know, I've been saying for a while that you can't evaluate these teams or the players, the Dolphins or anybody, because, you know, I mean, look at the 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks. They've lost so many people. The Jets, so many fucking people. The Patriots, before the season started, lost a ton to opt-outs, right? So it's just a fucking mess of a season. It's only going to continue to get worse, and eventually it's going to get shut down. So that's the first problem. It never should have been here in this situation to begin with. None of these people should be, you know, in positions to be fucking up the protocols or whatever, because they just shouldn't be there. They should be at home quarantining and isolating and you know, doing what's actually necessary to stop this pandemic, you know, once and for all. But they're not going to do that. And then on top of that, the reason why they never should have, you know, went through with the season to begin with, or at least a large part of it, was because the protocols are impossible to enforce. You just can't. There's no way. And no matter what your measures are, you can clean all you want, blah, blah, blah. It's not enough. And I mean, I'm being proven right in real time, like literally, like every day this gets worse and worse and worse, and we are likely on the verge. I mean, like I said, right now it's 3:40 in the a.m. on the 8th, right? For me, Thursday. So look, man, you know, I could go to sleep and wake up late morning, you know, around 11 or whatever, and there could be a whole new round of motherfucking reports detailing about how now the Patriots have a full-on outbreak, and the fucking Chiefs are starting to get positive tests, and the Saints are starting to get positive tests because, you know, blah, blah, blah. They thought it was negative. They thought it was positive, then negative, and then turns out to be positive again. I mean, look, Stephon Gilmore before the game tested negative. He played the game, and now he's positive. I mean, it's a fucking joke. Anyway, Let's go ahead and get into these details. The Tennessee Titans are in danger of not being able to play this week's game against the Bills due to COVID-19 cases that haven't stopped. If a couple new reports are true, the Titans could be in danger of more severe punishment by the NFL. And again, this is not going to help anything. I can't understand who thinks this is going to help anything. It's not going to stop people from, because a lot of it, you can't control it, because a lot of it is like not even, anybody's fault. Again, like to drink water, or, there are all kinds of reasons why you need to push the mask aside or whatever. Anyway, it's not going to help anything. It's only going to make things worse. It's going to piss off the players. It's going to piss off coaches. It's going to piss off fans if their teams have to start fucking forfeiting games because of this shit. It's a powder keg waiting to fucking blow. And I can't imagine how they thought or still think that they can manage an entire season. Anyway, veteran NFL reporter Paul Kuharsky wrote that some Titans players had informal workouts at Montgomery Bell Academy on September 30th after their facility was shut down and they were told not to have any contact with each other. Steve Lehman of News Channel 5 said sources confirmed the workout among about 15 Titans players. Look, okay, and pause there, right? But it's impossible to manage these two things, right? The NFL is insisting on having a full slate of games. So these guys got to prepare. They got to stay in shape. They got to prepare for opponents. Even if games get pushed back, they still have to prepare. They got to practice. They got to do something. They got to try and stay in football shape because injuries are rampant. But you can't do that and then simultaneously also do the things that are required to fucking meet the guidelines. Because then, again, if they were really doing the right things, literally every single one of the fucking Titans players, the Vikings, at this point, the fucking Chiefs, the Patriots, the Saints, the fucking so many teams would literally just be sitting at home for 2 weeks not doing anything besides maybe Zoom meetings, but that's not gonna, or in personal workouts, but that is not gonna do shit. So, it's impossible to maintain the two things. They are pushing for two simultaneous extremes, and they are just opposing forces that are causing, immense blowback. And I'm telling you, man, this shit is just gonna fucking blow up. Anyway, Kuharsky added later that quarterback Ryan Tannehill was at that workout. What do you do? What do you do, though? You got to do something to keep... If they really want the season to be able to fucking play out to full fruition, these guys have to do something. That's why they should never be put in this position to begin with, because it's impossible to do. That's reckless to say the least. No, it's not, dude. Again, they shouldn't be in the position to have to make these fucking choices, dude, because if they don't, then they're gonna get, it's a lose-lose situation no matter what. The NFL, which has fined coaches and teams 6 figures for taking down their masks during games, isn't going to like this news. It will also have to consider the possibility of making the Titans forfeit a game. Will the Titans have to forfeit? If the Titans, who had 2 more players reportedly test positive on Wednesday, can't play against the Bills on Sunday, the NFL will have to consider making them forfeit the game. The NFL will be in a tough spot with all teams that are disrupted over positive tests. The league won't want to make teams forfeit, but the Titans holding a workout with more than a dozen players after there were positive tests among the team that eventually led to last week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers being postponed is going to draw league-wide ire. The NFL will want to make an example of them. Dude, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and it's only going to make people pissed. If they can find evidence of the workouts, and there's no bigger punishment to a 3-0 team than a forfeit. The league might want to resist that punishment. There has never been a forfeit in modern NFL history, but if the Titans can't play Sunday due to the outbreak, the NFL will have to deal with it somehow. Yeah, shut down the fucking season, you irresponsible fucks. That's why, when he says, oh, Ryan Tannehill was there, and that's just reckless to say the least. You want to talk about fucking reckless? It's reckless having a season to begin with. It's reckless having fans in the stadiums. But again, I'm a fucking, beaten horse. I'm a dying record, whatever, whatever the sayings are. like a broken record, right? Like, because it's the same thing and nobody ever fucking listens. And everybody just has to learn the fucking hard way. So I'm telling you, hear me now, quote me later, the season's going to get shut down because injuries are too rampant, because COVID-19 is going to continue to spread, get worse, and there are going to be many outbreaks before long. And then watch, somebody is unfortunately going to fucking die, because you can't just keep playing the odds. The more positive tests that arise, eventually somebody's going to fucking die. And it's just a fucking, and they're worried about fining people and making teams forfeit games and thinking somehow that's going to be the appropriate solution. No, the appropriate solution is shut the fucking season down and just fucking pay these fucking people like responsible fucking, you know, people. I was going to say business owners, but I mean, capitalism and business is all about profit. So anyway, let's see. The league would also have to decide if it will change last week's Steelers game to a forfeit too. It's a mess in Tennessee and for the NFL. What will NFL do? Koharski's story has distant photos that seem to show players working out. Koharski says in his story that he was using sources who told him of the Titans' workout, not relying on the photos for the breaking news. Titans offensive lineman Roger Saffold defended the workouts, which likely won't go over well either. And this is what he... Oh, shit. And this is what he had to say. Guys just don't work out for fun. This is for their livelihood, their family, their opportunities. Say what you want, but I'm standing up for my team always. And that's getting to what I was saying. Like, these guys, this is their job. And these guys in the NFL and the owners are expecting them to play out a full season. And again, with the injuries, they have to try to stay, you know, in shape. They have to stay in their playbooks. They have to stay working together so they can try and win games. It is literally impossible to maintain these two opposing forces at the same time. And I'm like I said, I've said it a million fucking times. It's going to end very badly. Receiver A.J. Brown also had a defiant tone about the report. A jury couldn't convict to say that it is us in that photo. I plead the fifth. Y'all stay safe out here. That was his comments. The NFL put out a harshly worded memo this week that threatened teams with the loss of draft picks or forfeiture of games for other violations of COVID-19 protocols. Telling you, bro. Telling you. Protocol violations that result in virus spread requiring adjustment to the schedule or otherwise impacting other teams will result in additional financial and competitive discipline, including the adjustment or loss of draft choices or even the forfeit of a game. The memo said the Titans are the first test case. It wouldn't be surprising if the NFL comes down hard on them if it finds the reports of the workout to be true. The biggest question is whether the Titans take their first loss without playing a game. I'm telling you, dude, because again, eventually there's going to be full-blown outbreaks on multiple teams, and eventually it's just not going to fucking pan out. Anyway, let's continue on because this shit is wild. So let's see. I already mentioned about the Titans likely facing NFL punishment, which is obviously to include you know, forfeit and draft picks, etc., etc. The next one that I want to get into just a little bit, also from Yahoo Sports, Stephon Gilmore's post-game hug of Patrick Mahomes has the NFL brushing up against its biggest COVID alarm bell. What exactly will it take, NFL? It wasn't one of your own uber-wealthy team owners catching the coronavirus. It wasn't multiple head coaches. It wasn't state mandates that have severely limited attendance in some stadiums and meant no attendance at all in others. Will it take the current face of your league, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, the Muppet-voiced comeback kid who so far has seemed incapable of being taken down, certainly not by opposing defenses, to find out he's COVID positive before you act? Before you go through with some form of a season-altering measure in the name of safety? Patrick Mahomes has already used his juice once this year in high-profile fashion. In early June, he agreed to be part of a video with other prominent black players when they asked what it would take before the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell finally stood up and acknowledged that Black Lives Matter. And of course, all they did was just fucking superficial bullshit that didn't fucking mean anything. You know, I knew that when fucking Goodell said, oh, you know, they can fucking, teams can bring in Kaepernick, I knew that not a single one of them would, because they're all racist pieces of shit. Anyway, I mean, it's all just fucking for show because they don't care. They just don't care. What is it going to take for people to realize that? I don't know. There's so many people that literally just have to learn in the most excruciating way possible, especially in this country. It's a fucking disaster. Patrick Mahomes has already I read that already. Goodell answered them in a video saying, in part, we, the National Football League, condemn the systemic oppression of black people. It's widely believed that Mahomes' participation in the video is what pushed Goodell to respond. Will it take Mahomes' involvement again, though this time in a potentially life-altering situation, before the NFL does something? On Wednesday, New England Patriots cornerback Stephon Gilmore, the 2019 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, revealed he tested positive for COVID-19. Less than 48 hours earlier, Gilmore's Patriots played Mahomes' Kansas City Chiefs, and the two met at midfield after the game to embrace. The truth is, it's questionable whether the Patriots-Chiefs game should have even been played. The league has lulled itself into a false sense of security with testing. The notion that a negative test the day before a game means a player is fine. But it's not... I appreciate this writer's stance, because clearly they are not in favor of the way that the NFL is handling it. I say it like that because obviously they're not as vehement and passionate as I am, but it's not that they've lulled themselves into some false sense of security. They just literally don't care. It's that simple. And they even said it. They expect to have positive tests. They just don't care. Anyway, according to the CDC, the incubation period for COVID-19 is between 2 and 14 days. That's why I said at a minimum, teams would get shut down at a minimum for 2 weeks. But they're not even close to that. Not even close. On Saturday, New England quarterback Cam Newton was placed on the COVID reserve list. Days earlier, Patriots coach Bill Belichick said no one is around the team facility more than Newton, and that he spends time talking and making connections with teammates in every position group and others around the team. Disaster. When no one else on the team tested positive on Sunday or Monday morning, the NFL allowed Patriots Chiefs to go forward, with New England flying to Missouri for the postponed contest. So let's stop there for a second. They flew there, which means they were all stuffed into a fucking cylinder tube that is has recirculated air, so they were probably all breathing it to each other, so they probably fucking all have it. Then they played a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they probably all fucking have it, so they probably gave it to the entire fucking Chiefs team, or at least some of the guys, who then probably spread it to the rest of their fucking teammates. Congratulations, NFL, you are killing people. At least not yet, but you will soon. It's such a fucking disgrace. It's just fucking, it's so bad. They did take 2 planes there and back, with one plane for those who had been close to Newton in recent days, and the other for those that hadn't. I mean, but how do you even really know, right? And then how do you know that, people from the first plane and the second plane don't, cross contact? I mean, at some point they fucking have to, even if it's in the fucking locker room when they get there. Like, it just, none of it makes any goddamn sense. It doesn't take a PhD to connect the dots on this, but once again, a marquee matchup in the almighty dollar took precedent over common sense and erring on the side of caution for the health and safety of all involved and their families. That includes Mahomes, whose fiancée is pregnant with their first child. Wednesday afternoon, Mahomes told media it was a little bit of a mental lapse to embrace Gilmore post-game, and that he's been sleeping in a different room from his fiancée as a precaution since Kansas City backup quarterback Jordan Ta'amu was found to be COVID positive. But that might not even be enough, bro. Like, that's the problem, right? And, it might be a mental lapse and he might realize it now, but it's too late. The damage is done. But it's not even his fault. It's just a normal part of everything. And, after a game. And it's just, again, they should not even be in this position to begin with. Could Mahomes contract the coronavirus from a hug? Could Mahomes contract the coronavirus from a hug? Experts believe it's highly unlikely. Not when they're breathing in each other's face. Experts have recently said that they believe that 6 feet is actually not even enough, and that they believe it can travel farther. I don't know why that's even like a question, but okay. I mean, it's an airborne virus. I'm pretty sure it can, anyway, whatever. But I'm not the experts, and they say that. If you're literally fucking kissing distance from somebody, I'm pretty sure you can fucking pass it on. Anyway, But again, until the pandemic is well under control, why take that risk? Why put not just the health of the darling of the league in jeopardy, but any player, any coach, any staff or family member? Months ago, when the NCAA canceled March Madness and the 2020 Summer Olympics were put on hold and the NHL and NBA seasons were stopped, there were thoughts that the NFL had an advantage because the season wouldn't be played for another few months, and therefore the league had time to plan. That plan, it's clear, was not good enough. As of this writing, there are 4 teams, the Patriots, Tennessee Titans, and Las Vegas Raiders, with at least one positive player, and the Titans are just a hotspot unto themselves. Let's see. Going forward with a full contact sport during a raging pandemic always seemed like an incredibly stupid idea to this writer, no matter how much any of us love the game or how empty your fall weekends might feel without them. At this point, however, if the NFL insists on pushing forward, and we have no doubt it does, the only answer seems to be going into a bubble. I appreciate that, but that's not gonna fucking help either. It's just not, especially at this point. I'm telling you, watch. But I appreciate, at least the effort, I guess, to try and figure something out. But it's just not going to work. They may mean pausing the games for a couple of weeks to get all of the logistics in place. It may mean millions in expenses team owners haven't budgeted for. But trust us, you'll get it back. That's why you wanted the season anyway. Money. Your broadcast partners won't care if every game is played at the same 1 or 2 stadiums. They just want the product and the ad revenue. You shouldn't care because there's no home field advantage in empty stadiums. This is the challenge you face. The current defensive player of the year has COVID. His teammate, a former MVP, might as well. How many more positive tests will it take? I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. I mean, yeah. That says it all, and that's how I'm gonna wrap this. Like I said, at this point, it's almost 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to go get some fucking sleep and whatnot. I was working tirelessly, not exactly, but I was working damn hard over the past few days to sort out my technical issues so I could get you guys videos again and no longer have problems. I think I'm finally there, so hopefully everything's settled, and I'm getting caught up. This should get me caught up. Like I said, 4 o'clock in the morning on fucking Thursday. I'm gonna go probably just knock out for a few hours before I end up having to get up to do stuff today, because I do have a few things to do. But I'm sure there's gonna be more news and more updates, and it's gonna come at us fast. And then otherwise, if there's nothing else to report in these matters, then Saturday I will be doing my my preview video for the San Francisco 49ers game. I do think that that's still going to be a tough team to play. Even if they have lost a ton of big name players, they still have a bunch of guys on offense that are really good. And it's going to be a tough team to play. But anyway, I'll get more into that on Saturday during my preview video, and make sure you join me for the live stream on Sunday for the game. I believe this one is a 1 o'clock game for me, which is a 4 o'clock Eastern time game. It's one of the midday games. So yeah, make sure you join me for that. It should be interesting as always. And yeah, alright, well, I'm gonna get up out of here and try and go get some sleep. I hope you guys enjoy my videos and perspective, and appreciate it at least. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Phins up.